emphasis on well-being and improvement of lives of the people of Nigeria and as well as India. Excellency, and ladies and gentlemen, allow me to place this event in the bilateral context. Well, let me just take you back. It was in November 1958 that India established diplomatic engagement with Nigeria. So this year would mark the 60 years of our bilateral diplomatic engagement. And this Expo coming at the very beginning of the year, in my view, would augur well in diversifying our bilateral cooperation to areas of very high priority to both Nigeria and India. I'd also like to touch on the current state of our bilateral economic engagement, commercial engagement, so that it serves as a backdrop for the captains of the Indian as well as the Nigerian industry who are based here. Excellency, there is a smart recovery of a bilateral trade of 18% compared to, let's say, if you take the period from April last year till March this year, the bilateral trade has grown by 18% and has now touched $11.5 billion US. And India's exports to Nigeria have increased by 25%. Now they touch about $2.2 billion US. So in a sense, it is an act of faith on behalf of the Indian industry, Indian businessmen in Nigerian economy and the growth that it offers for the businesses here. Well, it is not just the trade that is important. I think over a period of time, every country would like to have the investments take place from across the globe. I mean, we have in India, Make in Nigeria, which is so actively pursued by our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. And I see that we have a similar campaign going on Make in Nigeria, Made in Nigeria. And in this context, I'm very happy to inform the audience here that Indian companies are investing in a big way. If I put the, let's say, the cumulative investments into Nigeria have touched, I'm talking of since the time, let's say 1980s and 90s, it is now close to US $10 billion has been already invested from India in Nigeria. And I'm sure you all know that we have the Airtel leading the pack, which is based here, and they're doing a lot of credit for India and Nigeria relations. What are the other sectors? Well, we look at pharmaceuticals. We have about 5 Indian companies who have invested in a big way. We have now moved into the power sector, particularly the transmission, in the distribution sectors, the automotive sectors. In fact, some of the Indian manufacturers are setting up their, let's say, the assembly plants in different parts of the country. And renewable energy is the next area, and in particular, the solar energy. So the investments are coming from India into Nigeria. But yes, I think we need to look at how, in the area of ICTs, how we can make this a realization that can happen very soon. Now, let me touch back on the telecommunication sector. I'm very happy to inform that the discussions are ongoing between our Department of Telecommunications and the Federal Ministry of Communications in Nigeria to sign a memorandum of understanding in identifying various areas of cooperation in the telecom sector. And I understand that very soon our Department of Telecom will be sharing this text. We will be able to work with the federal government of Nigeria so that we create an umbrella framework for this kind of cooperation to take active shape. And today only I've learned that our Center for Development of Telematics, C. is now going to look at actively working with the Federal Ministry of Communications with a view to sign an agreement so that they can bring in their products, technology, and possibly a resource center in Abuja and possibly in other centers in the country. I think this is something I've just been informed by the colleague from the C. and which has already been echoed through the Honorable Minister and to his delegations. Well, in the end, I would like to thank the TEPC and NASSCOM for bringing the 4th Indo-Africa ICT Expo to Lagos. And I'm confident that this event will generate sufficient interest in Indian companies looking at Nigeria as their place of investment destination, quite apart from introducing some of the very attractive and innovative products that are coming in this sector. I think it will be remiss on my part if I would not mention the excellent cooperation, support, partnership that this event has received directly from His Excellency, the Honorable Federal Minister of Communications, the Ministry of Communications, led by His Excellency, the Permanent Secretary, and the other colleagues. I thank everyone in the Ministry of Communications for their very active support, and I'm rather very confident that this event will generate that much needed, provide the much needed impetus to the growth of ICTs in our bilateral. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency, for sharing India in Nigeria and Make in Nigeria. In fact, we have already formed joint working group within the Government Department of Telecommunication, and it is for the Nigeria to respond the contact point such that we can discuss the areas of mutual cooperation. Now, may I invite His Excellency Mr. A.M. Abdullahi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Communications, Federal Ministry of Communications, Nigeria, for his keynote address. To you, sir, please.
It's okay. You know my size. The Honourable Minister, sir, the representative of the Minister of Communication from India, the High Commissioner, Director from NESCOM, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the stakeholders and captain of industry from Nigeria, gentlemen of the press, good morning. I regard it a great honor and pleasure on behalf of the Ministry of Communications to be part of the occasions for the first edition of Indo-Africa ICT Expo 2018, and to heartily welcome our partners from India, delegates from other African countries, and the stakeholders from both Nigeria and beyond. The theme of this year's edition is quite apt and is in tune with the recently launched federal government initiatives of the Economic Recovery Growth Plan. In its effort to diversify the Nigerian economy from oil-based to a knowledge-based and sustainable economy, and in line with the mandates of the present administration, the ministry and its agencies have embraced some landmark activities in the areas of policies, initiatives, infrastructural development, and social programs that have resulted in significant achievements. Taking into considerations, this government stands on job creation, revenue generation, and security. This security is both physical and cyber. This administration is determined to leverage ICT and break its monopoly and open up the economy to foreign investors just as it did in the telecom sector. I urge each and every one of you to please take time, visit all the stands, particularly that of the ministry, and appraise yourselves of our modest efforts in this respect. Our presence in this expo reflects the support that this initiative has from the relevant stakeholders in the ICT sector, especially from the government and people of Nigeria. At this juncture, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the organizers, supporters, and government of India for having confidence in the ministry. It is my hope that the synergy already developed between the ministry and the relevant stakeholders will be sustained. The ministry is ever poised to explore common ground around which it can sustain this collaboration for the common good of both countries. I look forward to an effective networking opportunity that this event presents, as well as congratulate the organizers for a well-put-together program that has the potential to broker strong partnership between India and Nigerian stakeholders in the ICT sector for the mutual benefits of all. I would like to end by affirming our commitment to work with you and to assure you of the continuous support of the ministry and its agencies for our country's drive towards a more robust